Okay, so guys, as indicated, today we'll be doing corrections, and most importantly, I'm going to be a little fast because I want to try and cover as many questions as possible. But most importantly, in case if you've got a question, that's when you can interrupt and ask a question. But otherwise, I'm just going to pretend as if I'm also in exam and trying to write this question paper. And most importantly, I'm just going to do one question paper for grade 12 and then move to grade 11 and then 12 and then 11. We'll see how far we can go with this. But most importantly, just be aware that these are not the corrections for grade 10s, but if you are in grade 10, you are welcome to participate and see how we solve some of these problems. Okay, so here is the first question, which is allocated 3 marks. Most importantly, it's a quadratic equation. Is it in the standard form? Yes, because it's equated to 0, meaning I need to then factorize. So when I factorize, obviously I'm having x. It's easier when you don't have a number there and it's just 1. 2 numbers multiplied together giving 12. I think it is 3 and 4. Most importantly, the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. It's going to be negative, and then to get a negative 12, it has to be a plus there, meaning I'll just have that being equated to 0. It goes to the other side, and then you are having x, which is equal to negative 3. Also, it's x minus 4, which is going to be equated to 0. You take 4 to the other side, it changes a sign, it becomes x, it's equals to 4. So now your 3 marks might possibly be coming from there and there with you factoring. No, actually they will give you 1 mark for correct factorization, and then a mark for answer, a mark for answer. So that's how you would solve that question. Then quickly I move on to the next one. I'm not really sure in terms of what you guys are doing on your side, but most importantly, as I'm allocating those marks, make sure that for that specific question, you also allocate yourself marks with either pencil or a different pen, or if the same, it's fine. And then for each question, you write how many marks you've got. I'll show you how you then sum up everything. And then from there, you guys will send me how much you think you would have got for that test. Then as I do mark or go through your answers, I'll then verify all of that. So just try to be as honest as possible, because there are no marks or extra rewards given for you to get more marks. It's just to make sure that you fully understand. Okay, so now we are moving on to this question. So if you haven't written this question paper, it's fine. Your turn will come. For now, just see how I approach this type of question. So now, let's see, we are having a 2x squared minus 5x plus 11, and all of that is equal to 0. So remember, the main should say solve for x in each of the following, meaning whatever that I do, the main aim is solve for x, which means in the C, I've got positive a, it's in that standard format, and everything is equated to 0. Most importantly, you don't really need to write that quadratic equation, but what you can do is to punch it on a calculator. You say over, and then you are having negative b, it's negative 5 plus square root of b, it's negative 5 close squared, minus 4, a is 2, c is negative 11 close over 2, our a is 2. Then I'm getting that. Okay, it also happens that while you do that, you get something which doesn't make sense. Then you might need to try and check if there's somewhere you've made a mistake. It seems like I haven't done a mistake anyway. But now my other question is, did I copy everything correctly? Then I need to check. I've got 2x squared minus 5x minus 11. 2x squared minus 5x minus 11. Okay, now I'm going to cancel all of that, and then I'll try to punch it again. So what I'm trying to do is to actually factorize that. So the formula says negative b, my b is negative 5 close plus square root of, inside the brackets is a b squared, which is negative 5 squared, minus 4a, my a is 2ac, c is negative 11, and then over 2 into a. Let's see what I get. So I'm still getting that same answer, which is a fraction. So this is a situation where you wonder if you've copied something correctly, or otherwise, if it's not a math problem where you get the factors, then you might as well continue with that. But let me quickly check something. Maybe I'm the one who's getting, let's see, negative. So remember, guys, this is what normally happens during exams. You try to work out something, but it's not working out correctly. Let's see. Okay. Now I'm going to substitute. Let's see, x is equals to. So I've tried to find the factors, but I can't find the factors because I'm getting this fraction. So I'm just going to as if this is not factorizable, but I'll need to then write it as a decimal. So let's see. What is negative b? Negative b is negative 5. Then I have plus or minus square root of. B is negative 5 squared minus 4. What is a? A is 2. What is c? C is negative 11. You close all of that divided by 2a. And then our a, it is actually 2. So now I know that I'm going to have two values. Can someone also on your side punch all of that with a positive sign, and then we see what you guys are getting there?
3.91.
Someone is getting 3.91. Is it everyone who's getting a 3.91?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, but most importantly, remember that if it gives you a fraction, write it firstly as that, 113 over 4. And then from there, that's when you can convert it to a decimal, because you might find that this is actually allocated a mark. Then you are having 3.91. Remember, there should be instructions in each and every test where they say, if not specified, round it off to 2. So just make sure that in exam, when they say, what would they say? If they say, if not specified, round off to 2 decimal places, then just check if that question they did not specify to what decimal places you should round off. Then you will know what to do. And then now you go back there, you change it to a minus. Then if this is what you are getting, don't same time convert it to a decimal, but firstly do that. And then once you've done that, you can therefore convert it to a decimal. Then this is what I'm getting. I'm not sure if you guys are also getting negative 1.41. Okay, so is it everyone who's getting that answer? And also, just a last confirmation, is everything clear on your side, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in that case, for this question, let me just quickly check where I was also answering this. I just want to make sure that I allocate each problem some marks so that you will know exactly where you get marks. Okay, this is where you will then mark. But wait, guys, I'm not sure if you noticed something. On this question, they did not say round off your answer to whatever. So that's why I wasn't sure whether I can find the factors or not. That is where this formula is useful. You firstly punch it on a calculator, and then if it doesn't give you a those factors, then you can try for the last time. If it still doesn't work out and you've done everything correctly, that's when you will know that, okay, this is that type of a question which is not factorizable. But what you need to do, it is to then work it out this way where you use that formula. So for correct substitution into that formula, they give you a mark. And then also I think you actually get a mark for correct substitution of A, B, and C. A, B, and C. And then from there, whether I think you've written this or you've written that, for both of them, that's where you score yourself your last mark. But in some instances, you might find that this is allocated a mark, and also this is allocated a mark, whereby is one mark for
Say you're
all
cutting.
substituted, and then one mark for the answers. So just make sure that when you mark in that way. Someone says, Tandy says, I'm breaking. Maybe let me check. Is it breaking for everyone? Lindy, that side, is it breaking?
Say it's also breaking this side. And can I ask if the lesson is being recorded because it's load shedding this side?
Yeah, so the lesson is being recorded. Maybe let me leave and then I'll come back again. I'm not sure if all is good on your side. Andy, can you say something there? How is it now?
Yeah, it's better, sir.
Okay, then it's fine. Maybe let me bring another board and write on top of that one. So remember, this question that we've just done, it was A, then we now move on to B. And then B, you are having 2x squared minus 5x squared minus 11x, all of that is equals to 0. And this question is only allocated to marks. It looks as if this question is a bit complicated or difficult and it's allocated. Sure. I think someone is still busy with the crickets outside and okay. So maybe let's quickly continue and then I'll take a moment just to check what's happening outside. Someone is
Sorry,
saying
sir.
something. Yebo.
2x to the power 3. 2x to the power 3.
Mzozozo. Thank you for that. Yes. This is 3 there. So it's 2, 3x cubed, that. So Mzozozo, it happens a lot where you copy something incorrectly. And I'm telling you, I was going to struggle to solve that because it's not copied correctly. So now, be careful of something, guys. You can see you've got common factor there. you've got common factor of x. So how about we take out that x? That means we are going to have 2x squared minus 5x minus 11, and that is equals to 0. So if you can check this, which is inside, it's actually exactly the same as what we have worked out there. And what we know is that this thing inside is not factorizable, but we end up having a x, which is equals to what is that? So it's actually this same thing with a plus on this side, a minus on that other side. So you can just maybe do a shortcut and say it's actually 5 plus or minus square root of 113 divided by 4, whereby when you punch this separately, the other one is going to give you a decimal of 3.91, or the other one is going to give you a negative 1 comma a negative 1 comma what is it, a 4 1. But most importantly, remember, if you have the highest degree being 3, it means when you solve for x, you need to provide 3 possible values. Just like when you have the highest degree being a squared, it means you are going to provide 2 possible x values. So this is where you remember that this is what you equate to 0, all of that you equate to 0, but you know very well that after equating that to 0, this is what you get. So it's more like what we have just done. So the trick here, it was actually just to take out a common factor being x. So you end up having that which is equated to 0, and then also that which is equated to 0. Then you work it out the same way you solved for a, which is that other one. Then you end up having that, you end up having that. So that's how you actually score yourself 2 marks for that question, whereby 1 mark coming from you knowing that this one you just repeat what you've done, and then this one you equate it to 0. So quickly, I'm about to now move on to the next question. I'm just not sure if there's someone who is about to say I'm breaking, or is it still clear?
Clear, sir.
Okay, now I will continue and move on to the next question. Yes, is it a question coming through?
Yes, sir. Are there corrections for specific grades or?
Okay, if you joined when we started with this lesson, I did indicate that I'll just do one question for grade 12. Quickly, once I'm done, then I'm going to move on to a question for grade 11. And most importantly, grade 11 and 12, it's one and the same thing. So whether you're in grade 10 or, grade 11 or 12, just make sure that you stay until the end of the lesson. So for X for grade 11 and 12 is the same thing. But most importantly, I want you guys to be aware of the techniques that one needs to apply when working with math problems. So I hope you got me there, honorable member. So now let's move on to 1.1.3, which says we are having that, and then we are having that. So just make sure, all of you guys, that I'm copying everything correctly. I'm also checking here if I'm copying everything correctly, and this is allocated for marks. So let's see. Now, in this case, I think what I know is that mathematically, when you're given a problem, you try by all means to remove the brackets. Let's see how can we possibly remove the brackets. So now, how about we temporarily leave that on the outside, and then we just work out this by that, that by that, this by that, that by that. What are we having when we do that? So this by that, it's x squared that by that, we're having negative 5x, that by that is positive 7x, that by that, let's quickly see 7 times 5, it gives 35, which is a negative 35, and then you are having the brackets there. This is less than 0. Okay, let me work out the like terms inside there. So that means I'm having x squared. This is more like 7 minus 5, which is what? Some of you made mistakes. You did that correctly, but you made a mistake. This thing, punch it on a calculator as negative 5 plus 7. You will see what you get. You get positive 2. Some of you wrote what is it, negative 2. So that means you're having positive 2x minus 35. So as I'm working it out, try to also check what you've done. Then now I can say that by that, that by that, that by that. Let's see. What am I getting? I'm getting negative that. And then this one, it's going to be negative 6x. And then that is going to be, I think, positive, let's see, 3 times 35. Hey, it's positive 105. Then I'm having less than 0. So now let me try to remove that negative. Why am I removing it? It's because for this to be in the standard form, I need to have a positive a value there. That is the most important part. So now 3 goes into 6, it also goes into 105. So let me somehow just divide by actually negative 3. So it's more like you're saying you divide everywhere by negative 3. Obviously, there is going to be 0. But most importantly, when you divide by a negative number, that also changes direction, or it changes the sign. So it's more like that cancels with that, and then this one that makes it a positive what is it, 2x, and then this one it makes it a negative value, because you say positive 103, no 105 divided by negative 3, it gives you negative 35. Because you are dividing by a negative number, which is negative 3, this sign, it has to change that direction. That divided by negative 3, you get 0 there. Then now it's in the standard form. That's when you can try to do what? To factorize. You can try to factorize. So to factorize, it has to be easy because you have just invisible 1 there. What two numbers when multiplied together give you 2?
7.
I think it's 5 and 7. 5 and 7. Is it a question coming through? I think it was Hamisa. Hamisa, was it a question coming through?
No.
No. Okay. So let's see. That means I will need to have the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term, which is positive. Then to have a negative 35, that is going to be negative 5. Then you know very well that your critical values, that's where you say that you equate it to 0. That's where you are allowed to say that plus 7 is equals to 0. Then you say x is equals to negative 7. And then you have or, you are allowed to say that is equals to 0, and then that it's equals to 5, because you take it to the other side. This is the moment where you are allowed to equate those, because you are calculating, you're doing the critical values. They easily represent them on a number line. And then how do you do that? You notice it's a circle which is not shaded. And if you remember, I did say if this sign, what is it? I think we said if is greater than, then we have arrows in that direction. But here, I think we might need to try to make sense out of that, because something that you need to realize is that you were given this thing as it is, you worked it out until you get a new quadratic equation, and you divide it by what? By negative 3, and you tempered with that sign. Originally, it wasn't like that. It was like that. So you might not need to straight away just do that, but it has to make some sense. But firstly, you are having those. So let's see. This is how you work it out. You say, now that you've got your critical values, the first one being -7 and then the other one being 5. This or that, it's actually saying for which values of x are we having a greater than 0. This is where your teacher would say you can punch all values in that direction starting from -7. So what value can you use? You can use any value. Maybe we can use -8. As long as it's a value from -7 in that direction. Maybe let's use -8. So that means you will punch either that as it is or that, where you substitute -8 where you see x. So maybe let me use that. I'm going to say into -8 plus 7 close open, -8 where you see x minus 5 close, it's equals to. So I'm getting a positive value. That's all that you need to know. You just want to know if you get a negative or a positive value. If you get a positive value, then you write a positive there. Then now, let's go and edit and check the values in between -7 and 5. I think even 0 is in between, even 1 is in between, even -6, -5, -4, -that. Any value between those two. Maybe let me use 0. You can use 1, you can use any value as long as it is between those two values. So let's see, what are we getting there? So we are getting what is it? Let me see, we're getting negative. Then let's try any value on this side, which is maybe you can use any number above 5. Maybe let's use 7, and then let's use again 7. Then we get a positive value there. Sure. Now, let's try to check something. I will confirm something as soon as I'm done with this. Remember, the main aim is expose you to almost everything that you need to be aware of, so that in case if you get a question which is a bit tricky or it's confusing you, then you know what other possible tricks or ways you can apply to that specific question. So for which values of x are we having the whole of that greater than 0? Remember, any number which is greater than 0 is obviously a positive number. So any number which is less than 0 is obviously a negative number. So can you guys see that we actually have a values being greater than 0 in that direction? Why? Because that's where we get positive values. Also, in that direction, that's where we get positive values. So, in short, what I'm saying is the moment you punch there or where you see x, you substitute any value which is greater than that. I'm telling you, you're just going to get a positive value. Even if you get 1,000, you punch 1,000. And also in that direction, -8, -million, negative whatever, it's going to give you a positive value. So it actually confirms what I've taught you regarding inequalities, to say if you can work it out nicely, the moment you get to this stage where you find critical values and you get that being greater than 0, you can just somehow say that unshaded and then you do that arrow. That unshaded, you do that arrow. Then you just say your critical value is -7. You just say x, you use that arrow as, that sign as it is, and then you just say -7. And then you say, then you are having x, you use that it is, this is what it is, and then from there you write the critical value there. That's what I actually wanted to check, because I've actually taught you this method of saying when you get there and you are having a greater than, then it means the arrows point outwards, and when they point outwards, you just say x that outward, and then that critical value say, or x that outward, and then that critical value there. So let's quickly try and check exactly where you score a mark. Let's see, it's obviously 4 marks. They say for critical values, we are going to give you some marks, and then also, let's see, for you to obviously, let's see, there you are having another critical value there, and then to represent those, we are also going to give you marks there. To represent them in that format, we'll also give you marks there. So that's how you would work out this problem. So on your side, make sure to give yourselves marks there if you got them, or otherwise the wrongs. So I'm about to now move on to the next question. I'm not sure if there's someone who's got a question there. Let me quickly check what is the next question there. I think it's simultaneous equation. Okay, so now I'm about to remove all of that, and then we move on to the simultaneous equation. Then we do that last one, and then we move on to a grade 11 exam. So let's see. Guys, am I still clear on your side? Can you hear me? Is it not blurry? Am I not breaking?
No, you're not breaking and I can hear you.
Okay, so let's see, we are having y plus 2, which is equals to x, and again, we are having y, which is equals to x squared minus that. So, guys, I might be tutoring you mathematics, but it doesn't mean I'm an expert. It doesn't mean if I go to an exam, I'm going to get total 100%. You do make those silly mistakes, of which what I'm actually trying to achieve in what I'm doing, I'm just trying to be as real as possible by trying to assume that I'm actually in exam. And because I'm in exam, I want to actually give you an exposure of what we also go through, because someone might think I had it easy, or if I would write an exam, I would get 100%. So I'm just working it out, and at the same time trying to explain the challenges that I would also come across. So let's see, what exactly are we having there? So we have 2 equations, and already this one, x is already the subject of the formula. But most importantly, that means one can somewhere say substitute equation 1 into 2, meaning you don't have to derive equation number 3 because already a letter is subject of the formula. But now see what happens if you do that. That means where you see a x, going to substitute the whole of that. So that means you're going to have y, which is equals to, let's see, y plus 2 squared minus, there is another x, you're going to substitute y plus 2, and then you have minus 10 there. So where I saw x, that x, I substituted the whole of that. That is another option. But how about I derive equation number 3? So that means I'm going to take this to the other side. If I take it to the other side, I'm having y, which is going to be equals to x. Then it changes the sign, then it's minus 2. That's how you derive equation number 3. But here, you don't derive it, you straight away work it out. Why would I derive equation number 3? It's because I realize it might be less of work to just make y the subject of formula, because I'm going to substitute this where I see y, meaning I'm going to have that, I think this ring light is doing some flies. Okay, so let's see. I'm having that, I substituted it where I saw my y, then I equate to the whole of that, which is that. So can you see, I don't have to now have two of those and still have to work out that by that, that by that. So it seems like this, doing it that way, you can still get it correct, but it's going to be long walk to freedom. So now, quickly, you can just continue with that method. So let's see, let's maybe close that, because we notice it's going to waste time that we don't have, and continue with that. So let's see. That means because the highest degree is 2, it means it's a quadratic equation. You need to rewrite it in standard form. So let's see. How about I take this to the other side and also that to the other side? So I'm going to remain with 0, which is going to be equals to, let's see, that is positive x squared. I'm not taking it to this side because it's going to be negative. I just want to leave it on the positive side. Then I already have that minus x. Then if you take that to the other side, it changes a sign. It becomes negative x. You already have that. So start by writing what you already have. The one that you are moving to the other side, write it next so that it's in order. So now that means I'm having that. What is that? 2 of this. Some of you guys write 2x as a positive, but it's not. Punch negative 1 minus 1, it's going to give you negative 2. Then you know it's negative 2x. Punch negative 10 plus 2, it's going to give you negative 8. Some of you just say 10 plus that, and then it gives you 12. You write 12 there. So now, let's see. You remember when I was saying Hamisa is a person is Hamisa. What I mean by that, this looks like a person is Hamisa, but let's say Hamisa is a person. So this is how you write it, so that you can nicely factorize. When you factorize, you're having xx, two numbers that can give you 8 is 4 and 2. Bigger number takes the sign of the middle term for you to get a negative 8. That's if you have a positive there. So obviously, you end up having that being equated to 0. It goes to the other side. Then you end up having that being equals to 0 to the other side. Then that is 4. You are not yet done, because here, remember, the main question says solve for x and y simultaneously. Let me just quickly confirm that. No, they just said given. Yes, you are given that, and they say solve for x simultaneously, and this one is allocated 6 marks. So now you've just solved for x. You now need to solve for y. How do you do that? You can take this and substitute it into that. Equation number 3, that means y is equals to negative 2 minus 2, which is equals to negative 4. Then you do the same on this side. That's order there, equals 2. What's your value? It is 4 minus 2, which is that, and then you are having what? 2 is what you are having. Sometimes they would say, not necessarily say, but sometimes they might represent it this way and say, for this x value of negative 2, the corresponding y value, it is negative 4. And then here they say, for where that is, for the corresponding y value is 2. That's where those coordinates come from. So now, let me quickly check where you score some marks for that, so that you can do that. Maybe for this one, I would give you a mark where you derived that equation there. Obviously, you substituted it somewhere where. This is where you substituted it. And then now, for you, let's see, for you to factorize it, that's where you score a mark for factorization. Whatever that you do in between, especially after substituting, when you simplify until you get it to that standard form, they normally don't give you a mark, but marks for corrects that. And then from there, the other mark can come there and there, where you solved for both, and then last mark comes for both of those answers. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how you score yourself 6 marks for that question. So I'm pretty much sure that you guys worked it out correctly. So anyone who's got a question before I do the last question? Okay. I'm still clear, Musne. audible, not breaking, not blurry. Someone to confirm. Noktula.
Sir.
Okay, I suppose that was a yes. So now, let's see. Okay, let me quickly get that question. I think this one, being 1.3. Let's see, 1.3. Just make sure that I'm copying everything correctly. And then that, and then that, and then that. Never think because you are in grade 12, then it means the grade 11 and 10 syllabus is useless. I will repeatedly tell you guys that for me, I did my grade 12. I actually completed my grade 12 around, I think, March. And also, I did my grade 10, 11, and 12 in grade 12. The stuff in grade 10 that I did not understand, in grade 11 that I did not understand, they only made sense when I was in grade 12. So I had to study that textbook and that, then finalize with that. In March, I was done. I realized most of you guys fail because you take granted the information in grade 10, 11, and 12. As a result, that is why with my lessons, I only do what works and not what the learner recommends, because from this test I'm able to notice that you are not struggling because you are in grade 12, but you're struggling because there are some basics that you either forgot or do not understand. So just bear in mind that whether you're in grade 10, 11, or 12, every lesson that I conduct is useful. So let's see. In this case, I'm just not sure if everyone got this correct, but we'll see as we work it out. Most importantly, guys, this is where you got it wrong, and this is very dangerous. Guys, this thing, uh, it's like you're having 2 to the exponent y plus 2 to the exponent x over, let's say, 4 to the p. What you did was to say, because the bases are the same, you did that and then you added those. Guys, you don't do that if you have a sign of a plus or a minus in between. You only do it if it's 2 to the exponent y multiplied by 2 to the exponent x. Only if it's a multiplication in between, you can add those two and say a base, and then you're having y plus x. But the moment you have a sign of a plus or a minus, it means somehow you need to take out something as a common factor, and then you have those inside. Always remember that. You need to take out something as a common factor and then work it out. Normally, some other stuff will be cancelling or doing whatever. But now, here, let me just try to think of something, guys. Let's see, because I realize the bases are the same, but how can I make the exponents the same? What if I say 3 to the exponent 20, what is it? Maybe let me make it 13 because I want them to be the same. If this thing, you plus it, no, not even to plus, but if you say that you multiply it by 3 to the exponent 2, did I not somehow simplify that thing? Just think about it, guys. The bases are the same. You add the exponents. It takes you back to 2015. So that means I haven't really changed anything. I've just manipulated it so that it works for me. So now, because I realize the bases are 3, let me also do that. Honorable member said 3 is the same as, what is it? 9 is the same as 3 squared. Then you still have 1006 there. So now let's see. Can you guys see that I'm having a common factor of 3 to the exponent 13? Then let me take it out as what is it? A common factor. let's see, we are having 3 to the exponent 2013 into 3 squared plus 1. And then here, what is power to power? So I think that, let me quickly do that. 2 times 1006 is 2012. Yes. Okay. So now I'm having a 3 to the exponent 2012. Wait, guys, do you understand what I'm doing there? Because here, that's where examiner tries to test your level of understanding and, to check if you can apply the laws of exponents. Do you guys understand what I'm doing there?
Say,
No,
can you
sir.
please from the second step?
From the second step, which one is it? This one? Maybe this is the one that you're referring to. Is it the one?
Sorry,
No, sir.
I'm the first step.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. What's the question on that one?
How we got to take out the common factor.
But wait, guys, is it this step that you're asking about, or is it that one?
It's the first one.
Maybe
Second,
let
how
me.
we got the 3 squared.
Okay. So if you remember, there's that law which says a to the exponent, let's say x, what is it? X plus y. This is the same as a to the exponent x times a to the exponent y. And again, it's more like I'm having 2 to the exponent 4. So what I did, it was just to try and separate that 4, to rewrite it the way in which it suits what I want to do. So 2 to the exponent 4, you can still write it as 2 to the exponent 2 times 2 to the exponent 2. Because you know that this thing, you can still take it back to there because the bases are the same, meaning it's 2. Then when the bases are the same and you're multiplying in between, you can add the exponents. What is 2 plus 2? That is 4. So in this case, that 2015, I had to rewrite it nicely so that I have it as 2013. So what I did was to say 3 to the exponent 2013 times 3 to the exponent 2. Because if I now need to take it back to there, the bases are the same. That is 3, and then the power, you are having 2013 that you plus it with 2. So what is 2013 plus 2? Does it not give you 2015? So can you see? So that means I've just nicely simplified it. Does it make sense there, honorable member?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
I'm pretty much sure that this one, it makes sense where I say I had to take out something as a common factor, which is 3 to the exponent that, because when you say that by that, it has to take you back there, that by that, it has to take you back there. So now let's see. If you remember that law which says when you're having the bases which are the same, one at the top, one below, you therefore need to say just one base and then you have that power that you minus it with that. So it's more like you're having 3 to the power of 2013 minus 2012 into what is 3 squared? That we know it's 9. Maybe let me write it as 9 because I don't have enough space. Then what is 9 plus 1? It ends up being 10. So that means we actually have 10 there. Here comes a question. What is 2013 minus 2012? Guys, what is 2013 minus 2012?
It's 1.
It's 1. That means you have 3 to the exponent 1 into 10. 3 to the exponent 1, it is just 3. 3 times 10, what is that? Is it not 30? So that means this is actually equals to 30. For you to test it, try to punch all of that as it is on your calculator and check if it gives you 30. So let's see. 3 to the exponent 2015, you go down and say plus 3 to the exponent 2013. At the bottom, you say 9 to the exponent 1006. It's giving me an error. Let's see. Possibly because it's a big number. Let's see. Let me start it again. Say 3 to the exponent 2015. You go down, you say plus 3 to the exponent 2013 over 9 to the exponent 1006. Yes, it gives you an error because of those numbers being big. Let me quickly try to do that in brackets just to confirm that. Remember, this is you in exam and you're trying to just verify if you've done everything correctly and you keep on getting error. Okay, now that it gives you an error, that means somehow, if it's me trying to test it, I would try to test that step there because I know I've simplified everything correctly. 20, no, it's going to be 3. Start with over, then is 3 to the exponent 2013, and then into 10, you close. At the bottom, you have 3. No, I think those numbers, the exponents are still big. It still gives a maths error. Then let me test with this one to check if it's going to give me 30. Then that is going to be 3 to the exponent 2013 minus 2012. I go down, and then inside the brackets I multiply it by 10, then that's when it gives me 30. So this is an indication that when you're dealing with bigger powers, you might not be able to punch all of that and the calculator is able to read the answer there. But as you test each step, maybe this one you can see it's getting less complicated and less complicated. Then this is the one that actually takes you to 30. That's what you do only when you are done with all the questions and you're just waiting. When they say it's time up, you can submit and they don't allow you to leave. You can just try to check if you've done everything correctly there. So here, most importantly, for that factorization there, where you set 3 to the exponent, that on the outside, and then you have that plus 1. They are going to give you a mark there, and also for you to simplify that denominator correctly. And then lastly, we give you a mark for your answer there. Any question before I move on to grade 11? So you guys are marking on your side, ne? Guys, are you marking
Yes.
that side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In that case, let me quickly check for that question that you guys wrote. I'm not finding it on my stuff. Guys, just quickly give me a second there. Okay. In the meantime, if you guys are saying you are calculating that side, I think this question that we did, it was how out of how many marks? Can someone just check? Was it 24? Can someone just quickly check there as I look for that question paper that you guys wrote?
22.
Okay, someone is saying it was out of 22. So this is how you know if you are closer to getting distinctions. What did you get there? Whatever, just copy this thing as it is, and then you'll use it to do calculation. Then after this lesson, you are just going to send me a number that you get after saying, for that question, let's say you got 4. Then you're going to say 4 divided by 22 multiplied by 100. It's going to give you a percentage. Maybe you got, let's say, 12%. So that means for that question, you only got 12%, which means you need to pass other questions in that exam to make up for that. So if you want to know that you're going to pass that exam, for each question, if it's question 1, make sure to get at least 50%. So if you can get at least 50% for all the questions, then you know you have passed. But quickly, let's try to work out this question for the other grade. Let's see, 1.1, 1.1.1. This is what we are having. I think for some easier questions, I'm just going to be a bit quicker. Obviously, you are familiar with that. You need to factorize. Let's see, two numbers that whatever. What are we getting there, guys? I think it's 4 and 3. Yes, 4 and 3, they give you that. Bigger number takes the sign of the middle term, and then to get negative 12, I have to get that. Then obviously you equate that to 0, and then that. I think most of you guys got that one correct. If you did not, just make sure that you try to redo it, because it was one of the easiest questions that you had to get all the marks. So this is where you get your marks. So just make sure that you do give yourself some marks there. So now I'm going to remove all of that. So let's see. The next question, just make sure that I'm copying it correctly there. I know I've got Zozo on my side. She's checking if all is correctly copied. And this one is allocated 5 marks. Okay, so remember, there I've got a square root and it's already isolated, meaning I don't need to take something to the other side. I can just straight away remove that square root. How you do it, you introduce a squared on both sides. So now it's removed. That's how you remove it, by introducing a square root. So this thing, it means 2 of the same thing, being that. Then now let's see. You remember, this is where the fire is. That by that, that by that, that by that. I'm having x squared minus 2x minus 2x. That by that, it gives positive 4. Now let's see. I can just work out the like terms. X squared, then it gives you negative 4x. This is where you guys get it wrong. Make sure to punch negative 2 minus 2, and it gives you that. So can you see? I'm having this as a positive sign on this side, so I'll take all to the other side. So that means I'm going to leave 0 this side, because everyone is leaving the left side. So I'm having that already. I already have that, and then this one I'm getting it closer to its friend, and then now I'm having that. This one also I'm writing it closer to its friend. Then it's 0, then it's x squared. What is that? I think it gives you negative 6. What is that? I think it gives you positive 3. A person is Hamisa. Let's say Hamisa is a person. Then we're having 0 there. So now you need to factorize. Remember, this is me in exam, but I'm sure in exam I will be moving at a very fast pace, because I'm not speaking. Okay, let's quickly see how to factorize that. Hey, did I not make a mistake somewhere? Is this thing factorizable? Let's see. I'm having all of that to the other side. Okay, but wait, is this thing factorizable? I'm just trying to check if I've made any possible mistake. Don't say anything, guys. Don't say anything. I'm hoping to get it wrong, so that you notice how one recovers from such. Can you guys see? I'm just not confident if this thing is. Guys, Umi, don't say anything. I'm not sure if you want to interject there. Okay, if I'm not sure it's factorizable, then what I'm going to do is to try and use the formula to quickly test if that is factorizable. That's why this formula is need to know it by heart. Square root negative, what is b? B, it's negative 6 close plus square root of negative b being 6 squared minus 4a1c is 3 over 2a being 1. I'm getting that type of a decimal, which means possibly I've made a mistake somewhere, because this thing, it has to be factorizable. Then in this case, what would you do? For me, if I was in an exam, I would actually try to cancel all of that and quickly try to work it out, because it's an ink. You might not be able to try to update or adjust when necessary. But this is how you recover. Firstly, try to make sure if that is copied correctly. Let's say square root of that plus that is equals to that. I think it's copied correctly. If not, then just say it. Let's see. Now I'm going to remove the square roots. Let me take a shortcut because you know the process. That means I'm going to have x minus 1, x minus 1. Yes. Then from there, you still have that as it is. That by that is x squared. That by that it's minus x. That by that it's minus x. That by that is positive 1. That's when I'm having a feeling that I actually made a mistake somewhere there. So even if you noticed that mistake, you did well by not responding, because I don't want to give an impression that it's always nice in exam. You do come across such challenges regardless of how good you are with maths, but you try to make sure that you do everything at a faster pace. So I'm having x squared. Obviously, both of those is the same as negative 2x, those two. Then if I take this to the other side, it changes the sign, it becomes negative 2x. And then now when I take that to the other side, what am I having there? Already I'm having that positive 1, that one, it changes the sign. This is what I'm having. Sure. I hope it's going to be factorizable. Let's see, there I'm having negative 4x, and then here that is going to be 0 because it's 1 minus 1. So let's see. The person is Hamisa. Hamisa, it's a person. So can you see, I need to factorize that. I have a common factor. Then I can just take out x to the outside, and then this is what I'm having. Then I know I'm going to say that equals to 0, that equals to 0, then x equals to 0, or x minus 4 equals to 0, and then x equals to, what is it, positive 4. But in this case, that's where you are going to have one possible value. So it's either this is the one which is x is equals to 0, or x is equals to 4. So how do you know which one is which? You need to test that value. That's if you're dealing with this where you need to remove that square root, the SAT. Then you're going to say square root 2 into 0, you close, you say plus 1. What are you getting? Okay, I got 1 when I substituted with 0. Let's try that. When you say 0 minus 1, it gives you negative 1. So already this one, it is not applicable. So your teacher might say, under this one, you can write not applicable. Some other teachers, they may say from there, you just cross it. This is to say, this value, it is the one which is not a solution. Let's try that one. So if it's a solution, this side and that side must give the same answer. Square root 2 into 4 plus 1 is equals to, I'm getting 3 when I use 4. Obviously here 4 minus 1 is also 3. Then that means this is the one which is a solution. I'm just not sure if all of you guys understood what I've done there. So squaring both sides, that's where you got yourself a mark. Writing it in the standard form, that's where we give you a mark. And then for finding the factors, we give you a mark. And then most importantly, for your answer represented correctly, we give you a mark there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you mark that question. Anyone who's got a question before I move on to the next question, Bantibakiti? Okay. Umi, is everything still clear on your side? Am I audible? And again, can you guys clearly see over there? Just two of you guys to confirm. Guys, are you still there? I haven't got a response. Hamisa, can you hear me? Did you get the message? Tubzaza, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Denzel, is it still clear? Okay. I suppose the message is still on the way. You will get it. But in the meantime, let me continue. In case if there's any question, you can just interject and ask a question. So now, let's see. This is an inequality allocated 3 marks and it's in the standard form. Then straight away, I can just factorize. Okay. Now I'm having xx, and then here I'm going to have 4 and 2. Bigger number takes the sign of the middle term, and then for me to get -8, it has to be positive there. So now for you to get the critical values, you equate that to 0, meaning you're going to have x, which is equals to -2, or x, it's equals to +4. What is the importance of critical values? Is for you to then write them there. You say you're having -2 there, you are having 4 there. Most importantly, can you guys see that you're having a less than sign there? Then it's a circle which is not shaded. And remember, I said if it's less than, those things are going to then be like that. If it was greater than, you are going to have them pointing outwards. Then you are done, because always when you have that being less than, this is how you represent your answer as between. So it's more like, can you see, you are having a critical value and a critical value. That means you're having the one which is negative and then the other one being 4. This is another way in which you can represent it. Another way, that's why I was saying x, it is the element of. If it is less than, which is not equals to, you do those kind of brackets, and then you have -2 or you have 4. But if this sign, it was less than or is equals to, you're going to say x is the element of, you do these corners, you do these corners. I hope you guys got that part. So this thing of inequalities, it is as easy as that, where after you've written it as standard form, if it's less than, it means you're going to represent it as that. But if it was greater than, it was going to be that one of using the arrows as they are. Any question on this one, Bantubaki? You get your mark, correct that, and then also you get your mark for inequalities, and then for representing your final answer, you get a mark. Any question, Bantubagi? Tumzaza, I think there's someone called Tumi in this group, and they named themselves Tumzaza. Can you hear me, Tumzaza? Tumzaza.
Yes, I can.
No questions, ne?
No.
Okay, just make sure that I'm copying everything correctly there. I think we are having 5x squared plus 6x there minus 7, which is equals to 0. So it's in cases whereby under your question 1, the first question you just normally factorize, and the second one, that is that you just check if it's in the standard form, and then from there, let's see how many marks allocated to this one. Is 4 marks. Let me quickly verify something. Yes, it's allocated that. And most importantly, let's see what the question says. What is it? 1.1.2. Okay, this is 1.2 where they say you are given that. 1.2.1, the question says, this is what? This is f of x, which is equals to that. Yes. 1.2.1, they say solve for x if f of x is equals to 0. And they say correct two decimal places. Examiner is trying to be tricky here, but you do know very well what they want. So where you see f of x, you put 0. So there, can you see where I see f of x, I'm going to put 0. So just make sure that it looks like that, not what I've done. So where I see f of x, I put 0. So that means 0 is equals to that, and then I need to solve for x. Correct two decimal places. It serves as saying that you need to use that formula, minus 4 AC all of that divided by 2A. So let's see. I like it when you say A is equals to that, and then B is equals to that, and then C is equals to that. So here you need to show that calculation. It's negative because the formula says negative, you say plus or minus. There, what is the B is positive 6 minus 4. What is your A? It's 5. What is your C? It's negative 7. The whole of that divided by your A being that. Then this is where you can have the first x value, and then you're having or, and then you have the other x value. So let's see, what are we having there? Over negative, what is B? It's 6 plus, you start with a plus 6 squared minus 4. A is 5, C is negative 7, the whole of that over 2A being 5. Then this is what you are getting, which you will write as it is. You just write it as it is over 5, and then you go there and update a negative sign on your calculator. Minus, you are getting that negative is for everything. So you actually write it as negative, and then you have 3 plus 2 square root of 11 over 5. So just be careful of that. I forgot to convert this as a decimal. So what happens is you will still need to repunch it again. So you're having negative 9, negative 1 point, there is going to be 3 because they said correct to 2. So let me just go and update there and put a positive, and then this is what I'm having with a positive converted to a decimal. I'm getting 0.73 because they said correct to 2. Yes. So now let's see where you score some marks. But guys, are we still on the same page on that one? You score a mark there. Guys, are we on the same page there? I'm no longer sure if you guys can hear me, but I'm suspecting the message is taking some time to deliver. I think there's a delay. Let's see. Zozozo, Denzel, Kanya Mtengwa, na, Nogutula. There's another one, TG. I'm just not sure who's TG. Mbali Kaba. Vosi, no, Voiswa Kumala. Neoza Hamisa Omi Dumza. Guys, are you able to clearly see? Can you clearly hear me when I speak?
So I think I was lost. Lapu minus
I
3
can't
plus
hear
2.
you.
Where does it come from?
Is it this one?
Sir.
So, this one, Mzozozo, it comes when you correctly punch all of that on your calculator. So just make sure that when you redo it, you correctly punch that on a calculator. But you firstly start with a positive sign, it's going to give you that. Then you go to your calculator, update that side to put negative, it's going to give you that. Then once you got that, you just convert it to a decimal, it gives you that. Once you got that, convert it to a decimal, it gives you that. I'm not sure if you get it, Zozos.
Oh no, I think I used to jump that thing on a calculator. Okay, sir.
Okay. So now, this is hence as we move on to the next question. Let's see. There's that question which says, hence or otherwise calculate the value of d for which this thing being 5x squared plus 6x minus d is equals to 0 has equal roots. This is what I normally do, the Tumza, because my teacher did not teach that in class. I'm not going to bother myself for now to stress about that one. I'm just going to skip it and focus on what I'm familiar with. So also, I haven't taught you this type of questions, and the reason to that is because on my master classes I only focus on common chapters. This part is not common, it's only in grade 11 and 12, meaning before you guys write exams, we will have to go back and revisit this chapter of something that has to do with the roots. They might have taught you at school if you're in grade 12 now, but if you're in grade 11 now, they haven't taught you. They're still going to teach you. So if you have attempted it for this exam, it's fine, but I won't do it because I haven't taught you. So I'm going to assume that Zozo, they did not teach you in class, and I'm also going to assume that because I didn't teach you, I'm not going to solve it because I can still solve it, but you might not understand if it comes differently. That is why I have to from where it starts, so that if it comes in any possible way, you will know how to work it out. A mistake that you guys do is to say, if I show you how that works, then you assume you know those type of problems, so you know how it works. In exam, it comes differently in reverse. You can't work it out, but you say, we have done it in class. I think I've done a minor mistake. It's not a mistake. You thought you knew it. It came differently. You tried to apply what you were taught in class, but you got hammered. So that means we will skip that one and move on to what I've taught you guys. Just remember that we'll still have to revisit those type of problems. Now let's move on to 1.3. That is why Mzozozo, yourself, you do know very well that in my lesson, I don't really care that much if you are a pro in solving for X, you are a pro in a number pattern, you're pro in financial, functions, whatever. I always assume that you know nothing. I always assume that you are blank, so that I know what you know. I know what you have taught you. I know what you should be able to answer. I know what should be difficult for you. So if you skip my lessons for some other reason, I'm telling you guys, it's very, very dangerous. Try not to skip my lessons, even if it feels like it's something that you know, or it's something that you are familiar with. You will surely learn something new out of each and every lesson that I conduct. It's not really about you knowing the answer, but it's all about an approach to some questions. So this is what we are going to do. We're just going to wrap up our lesson on this one, and then the other problems we'll see when to work out those. So let's see here, a simultaneous equation. I'll regard that as equation number 1. number 1 and that is equation number 2. Most importantly, is everything copied correctly? Let me quickly check. Yes, everything is copied correctly. So now it's much better to make x the subject of the formula, because I'm going to say x it's equals to, instead of me writing that that side, let me start with it and say positive y minus 3. Then this is how you have equation 3. Someone can say it's actually that, but I'm telling you, if you do it this way, when you substitute and multiply, it's going to cause chaos. Just write it nicely by starting with a positive. So let's see. So this is where you can therefore do Zaza substitute equation 3 into 2. Most importantly, 2 times 4, it is the same as 4 times 2. So let's write that nicely and say this is actually the same as y into 2y minus 3, which is equals to 20. That by that, you're having 2y squared. That is going to give you negative 3y. You take that to the other side. It's equals to 0. So now you might need to factorize that. So for this type of problems where I need to factorize, if I have 2 there, I just don't bother myself to think that much. I'm just using this. B is negative 3 plus or minus square root of what is B. B, it is negative 3. Remember, I'm trying to factorize that. Squared minus 4, what is A is 2. That is negative that 2a. So you will realize that I only write that formula when it's not factorizable. But if it's I can just work it in reverse. There I got x, which is equals to what? Which is equals to 4. Then I'm going to change that minus and put a plus, change a plus and put a minus. I'm getting a negative 2 over 5. So that means the other answer is negative, what is it? No, negative 5 over 2. So that means this thing here inside the brackets, it's actually a 2x with an opposite sign, which is a plus. And then this one, it's actually x with an opposite sign. Or otherwise, you can still show that here, that being equated to 0, and then also that being equated to 0 obviously takes you to those answers. So you've solved for the x value, but the question wanted you to solve simultaneously for x and y. So that where x is actually that, we'll calculate the corresponding y value, and also where x is 4, we'll calculate the corresponding y value. So let's see. Obviously, you use that. So that means, hey,
we were
no.
finding y.
We're finding y. I wish you didn't comment there, Mzozo, just to see where I was going to end. But most importantly, let's see. Sure, Mzozo said something. Mzozo, when we do, what is it, corrections, just wait until the end. You just saying zobona kuti uzophelela p. Just so that you know how to recover from the mistakes that you can potentially do in an exam. So for every mistake that I do, just ignore it and say, I want to see where that is going to end. Okay, let's see. Now, this is how I'm going to realize that I made a mistake. Let's see. Can you see there I'm having x values, and I know I need to use what is it? I need to use that to get the x value. So that's where I was going to notice that something kukhona ukushaya amanzi, because I'm supposed to get the values that I substitute there to get the unknown, but already I'm having x. Then that's when I'm going to notice that, okay, I was supposed to get that, that that means I might have made a mistake. So can you see there, when I was factorizing, I actually used a letter that, of which it was supposed to be that letter. So that's how I would recover from that after noticing that I made a mistake. So in this case, I'm just pretending to be in exam and working those out, just so that you are able to notice that it's not only you who make mistakes, even the teachers, professors, or whatever, we do these mistakes. But what matters the most is how do you recover? How do you notice that you've made a mistake? So let's see. Now that I've noticed, then I'm going to calculate the corresponding x value. So you notice I've also changed there because these are the y values and not the x values. So -5/2 minus 3, and then that cancels that. You have -5 minus 3 is going to be -8. Then that means the corresponding that is -8. And then you do the same there. X is equals 2. Let's see here, you're having 2 into 4 minus 3. That times that, what is that? Is 8. 8 minus 3, I think that is 5. Yes. Don't use your head. Make sure to always use your calculator there. So now, let's see where you scored yourself some. Let me just quickly check on my thing there. So obviously for deriving equation number 3, you've worked you have fought. That's why you deserve a mark there. Bantu bakithi, you have fought by correctly substituting there. Bantu bakithi, you do know very well that after correct substitution, what comes? It's you writing that in the standard form. You have fought. Bantu bakithi, for correct correct factorization, we also give you a mark there. Make a mark or a tick where it's you and a knot where it is you. So where I'm marking, that's where you either make you put a tick or a very big knot. Let's see, from there, for the x and y values, you have fought. Will give you a mark there. So that mark is for both, and then you have fought, there is your last mark for both. So that's how you would work out this one. Anyone who's got a question there? Anyone who's got a question? Whoever participated in the test, let's say for this one, it was out of how many marks? This one, I think, what was it? 28, ne? I think it was out of 28. Let me quickly check. I'm not sure if you guys are still there or you are watching our perfect wording at that side. Yes, it was out of 28. And there's one question that I did not write that I skipped, which was that one for 3 marks. So that means for this question, if I skipped that one, I would have actually got 25. So let's see, what have I got? So it's 25 over 28. You multiply by 100, you get 89. So that means for this question, I would have got 89%, which is a distinction. So even if I lost marks on that question that was allocated 3 marks, I still got a distinction. So do the same for the questions that we have done corrections. Do the same and say whatever mark that you got out of whatever mark that you got, multiply by 100, and the percentage that you get, then you send it via inbox to say, for what we have done on the corrections, this is a percentage that I've got for this test. Then in that way, I'm able to know how much you would have got for this question. Then I will then study your answer sheet to detail to check exactly where you got it wrong for those who got lowest marks. So whether you got a 0, I don't care whether you got 1% or 2%. What matters the most is that you did write something. Based on what you wrote, I'm able to then help you. But if you don't write anything, if you just skip questions, if you just completely don't participate, if you just completely don't write, it becomes difficult to help you because I don't know where you are struggling. So I won't laugh if you got 2%. Even if I do, you won't know that I was laughing. But what matters the most is that I've been laughing a lot the whole of 2020. I'm even tired of laughing. So now, only focus on serious stuff. So, guys, I'm about to sign out. Anyone who's got a question before I sign out? Thema Umis, are you okay that side? As Almal Reich. Mzozozo, did you get a message that I'm about to sign out?
So when are we going to do corrections for grade 10?
A very good question. So the corrections for grade 10, it will be sometime during the week. So that means there's going to be, what is it? There's going to be that lesson where I'll only be focusing on grade 10s, which is going to be sometime during the week. And that lesson, it's not going to be done in the master class, but I will do it in that specific grade for grade 10s because there are some serious issues that I need to address in that grade, even though I'm very much disappointed that not many participated in this test, but I'm hoping they will join when we do the correction. So can you guys see it actually works against you if you don't participate? Because after you've written something and we do corrections, that's how you learn, guys. That's how you learn. You don't learn by attending my lessons only, but you need to attend and at the same time work out those things. If possible, repeat exactly what we have done and check if you get it correct. Once you know you've done it correctly, that's when you can try other questions. But don't try to search for difficult questions, whereas there are some that you can solve. And also, because you're in grade 12, it doesn't mean you only focus on grade 12 stuff. It's easier when you understand grade 10. It's going to be very much easy for you when you get to grade 12 because you need to know everything in grade 10 to fight in grade 12. But if you don't know anything or you started being serious in grade 12, you're going to struggle. You're going to find it very difficult. So I can tell you now that grade 12 is way much more easier than grade 10 and grade 11 because you just repeat everything that you've done, which is just a lengthy calculation. I saw Hamisa's script. Hamisa is in grade 12. She's also been attending my lessons since last year, but she wrote a grade 12 final exam paper, and I think she got a distinction on that one, which is a very good indication that she is almost ready for all one type of questions for grade 12. So for those of you who are in grade 10, I'm telling you now, if you can make sure to attend all of my lessons, when you get to grade 12, it's a guaranteed that you'll get a distinction. So just make sure to catch up, attend, participate. If you get the questions wrong, it's fine. It helps me to explain even better. Just make sure that you also work them out on your side. So I hope I've answered honorable member who was asking regarding the corrections for grade 10. So I'm going to indicate when that will be. It's either it's going to be tomorrow or sometime during the week. Normally, I will choose that day where I know that grade 11 and 12 will be attending maybe life science or geography, and then on that same day attend physics. Then I know they'll be attending 2 times, and then 11s will just do the corrections. Possibly tomorrow, we'll finish them off, and then on Tuesday, that's when we'll finish corrections for grade 11 and 12, just like we did today. Any questions before I sign out? Bantu bagit.
So you didn't do question 1.1.3 for the grade 11s.
Voiswa, what did you say there?
You didn't do question 1.1.3
Oh,
for the grade
yes.
11s.
Yes. So the reason to that was because that chapter I will have to start it where it starts. I haven't taught it in class, so that's why I had to skip it. So it's more like if I didn't do it or our teacher didn't teach us in class, I was just going to skip it in exam, finish off everything and revisit it later to try and see if I can work it out. If I can't, I just leave it as it is and submit. Oxalayo, I'll still get a distinction. So I think that wraps our lesson for today. So thanks very much for joining. My name is Desmond, and I'm out. This lesson was recorded and is going to be posted tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Cheers, bye.